Oh, yeah. We back in the building, baby.
The best show for Chicago sports.
Y'all already know what it is. It's a Cat Day Friday in the building. We made it through another week. And that means there's only football ahead of us.
Oh, yeah.
We got to give our three biggest keys to a Chicago Bears victory. Victory! Over the Houston Texans. It's going to be a tough game going down into the whiteout, which in Texas sounds worse than it is. We also got to talk about last night's game, though. Got a chance to see the Buffalo Bills take on the Miami Dolphins in a game that, ended in all you can call it is a rout. I had a couple Miami players on my team. It did not end well fantasy-wise for me.
Ooh, baby.
But we got to ask the tough question, man. Another tough head injury for Tua Tagovailoa.
Man. Yeah.
Dog, is it time for him to call it quits? The date is 9/13/2024. We've made it through another week. And I've got a bear claw. If I stand up right now, this whole show get canceled.
Oh, hey-o.
Let's get it.
Rated R.
Hey, appreciate y'all tuning in, showing love to another edition of the Morning Breeze. As you always, man, you got your usual host in the building, Pat the Designer, Jordan JC, also known as Mr. Meaty around these parts.
That's right.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love as always, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do, and I'm a sicker on y'all, man. You gotta
come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said, man. Do I not give enough credit to Carter in that? Should I give more credit to Carter? Most of it.
You heard what she said, yeah.
I feel like she's the emphasis there.
Yeah.
I feel like she's the emphasis on push the button. Push the goddamn button. I love it every time, bro. I love it every time. JC, what's good, my guy? How you feeling this morning, man?
I'm good. What's going on? We got a JC in the chat.
We got a JC Franklin in the chat. He said, good morning. He's coming in fast, hot, and ready. That ish will never stop being funny, bear down.
Hey, man, whatever, man. You know, whatever gets you going in the morning, baby, I'm here for it.
Shout out to the chat in the building, man. We got Lamont Brown. He was first in here with a year. He said it's Friday. Shout out to a Friday. I'm here for that. Don Quixote said, yeah. A little yawn in there. A little yawn in there, man. Appreciate y'all.
Wake up.
Jay Grizz in the building. Brian in the building said, y'all crazy this early in the morning. I just wake up like this. I wake up like the Undertaker. So you know what I mean. Dan Tanner in the chat. Tanner, what's good, my guy? Hey, we got a lot to get into on today's episode, man. We appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love as you always do. JC.
Yo.
We got an opportunity to go in to a whiteout, which is a crazy name.
Yeah.
But I know why they're calling it, but nuts. It's just like, I don't know about that one. An opportunity to go into the whiteout and try and steal a game that just about nobody, probably except Adam Rank, expects the Bears to come out and win. Yeah. I don't know if you saw that chart where they just like put his prediction up there and then it was just like Ditka below. Remember when like everybody's picking the Packers and then like Ditka's like Bears,
no matter what, Bears all day.
I can't do it.
Bears till I die. Yep.
But at the end of the day, a game that not a lot of people expect the Chicago Bears to go in here and win. What is your first key to a Chicago Bears victory down in Houston?
First key for me is making sure that we attack the A-gaps with our defensive tackles. One of the things that came as a strong suit or as a strength that we saw on display in the last win was Javon Dexter, big man Billings in the middle, DeMarcus Walker getting in there in this area with about 4 pressures, I think, 60% win rate. Like, that's where we need to win again because unlike last week, their interior from the offensive lineman side is a little bit weaker than their exterior. You got Laramie Tunsil, which is one of the better left tackles in the league, probably in the game. So you want to try and get away from him, and so that's where we should be attacking. I saw a stat where C.J. Stroud, even though he's as amazing as he is, he's a guy who wants to attack you from the pocket. He's very good when he's within the pocket. He doesn't really do a lot of outside, plays off schedule, plays off script plays as much as he's comfortable in the pocket. And so that's where you want to make him uncomfortable is when we're attacking that middle. And I think we can do that. If we can do that and kind of mess up his timing, we have a chance to win. That's my first key.
No, I'm right there with you. To me, it is about throwing things off in that backfield. I'm not going to start with C.J. Stroud, though. My start is this Bears run defense has to be the run defense that they were in the second half and in the first three drives of the first half, right? Game kind of got away from them in those last three drives where all of a sudden the Titans were able to run the football. You have oh God, I'm sorry. I apologize. I died.
Friday. All right.
Oh, watch yourself. You have to make this team one-dimensional because if you allow Joe Mixon, who ran the football 30 times last week for an average of 5.9 yards per carry, if you allow him to get going, it's going to make that play action that much more deadly. It's going to be that much more harder to bring down C.J. Stroud. That is already a difficult job to do, but you don't want to make that harder for yourself. This Bears run defense has to come to play. I'm looking at you, Andrew Billings, who dominates at the run. I'm looking at you, Javon Dexter, up the middle. And you know what? We need that guy who's going to be able to set the edge consistently. And I saw this from Darrell Taylor last week a couple of times. The knock on him was, well, he's not a good run guy. That's why he's been an outside linebacker for so long. He's not a good run guy. He looked pretty good against the run when he got some opportunity.
Good to me. Yeah.
Looked like a sure tackler in that backfield. I thought that he did some really good things with that as well. So you got to be stout against the run. If you can shut down Joe Mixon, I think that changes this game dramatically because now C.J. Stroud, while still a good passer, has to just be a passer. But that puts this game in your hands. That puts this game in, all right, now it's C.J. Stroud versus your DBs. And that's a matchup that I actually want to see this Bears team go through.
Yeah, no, that I'm right there with you. You actually mentioned in the running back that'll be an extra key for me, if I will. That'll be a key to winning the game. If we can actually do the same. You mentioned how many carries Joe Mixon had, and I told you before, I still think that even though there was a poor running game last week, DeAndre Swift only had 10 carries for 30 yards. I feel like if you gave him 20 more carries, he could work up a lather. He could actually get a little bit more acclimated in his game, get a little bit more comfortable. I always feel like if running backs get more touches, they get more comfortable. They just get better with time. And so, that's something maybe we can implement if the running game is working. I'm not saying when the running game, if the running game is working and it's working often and early, then I would like to see the running back get a few more touches as well.
No, I'm here for you. I think the difference is when you're getting 5.3 yards per carry, it's a lot easier to say, this is working out for us than when you're getting what was
10 for 30.
Swift, he was 3 yards per carry on the day, and it was much lower. I don't know if y'all noticed. Like that 20-yard run at the end really saved
the run.
that percentage over there. Yeah, man, I agree with you though. Like the run game is going to be so incredibly important in this game, establishing it and stopping it. It's going to be it's so funny, right? Because we live in this league where the passing game is what rules the day. You got to be able to pass the football. If you can't pass the football, you're not going to be able to win the day. And then you look at a game like last night, right? And we're going to go more in depth on what we saw with the Bills and Tua and all that stuff. But you look at a game like last night where, A-Chain is banged up. You lose Raheem Mostert. And your rhythm is just not the same as it was that first week. You're able to go out there and dominate that first week. Week 2, all of a sudden you go up against a Bills team that everybody's kind of like, all right, they still look like a solid team, but maybe they're beatable. Yeah. And you can't do anything. Now, losing your quarterback in the second half doesn't help you there. But
that's a big one. Yeah.
They looked dead long before that. So the run game is still important. That's really what it comes down to me. It's not something that you can just ignore in this day and age, man. Yeah. Key number 2 for you, Jordan JC. What is your second key?
Oh, yeah.
To a
Key number
Chicago
2.
Bears victory.
Key number 2, I am still going back to leaning on this defense, but at a different level of the defense. We talk about the defensive line. I am looking for the other guys, the linebackers, the DBs, the safeties, to make sure that they are tackling efficiently, gang tackling, doing what they got to do. Because on this team, you have 3 guys in Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Stephon Diggs who are pretty good at hurting you after catching the ball. Nico Collins last year was ranked 3rd in the NFL with 7.1 yak per reception. You had Diggs, who was a little bit less efficient, but still 3.9 yak. And then Tank Dell was 12th most with 3.1. Or I should say, Tank Dell was 3.1 yak per reception. And so you got guys who, have elite speed. You have guys who are very good at contested catches. You have guys who are very good at, getting yards after the catch. We need to make sure that we're sure tackling, even if, a guy catches the ball, make sure you're tackling him right then and there, because that could really kind of blow this game up if we get guys who are just running away from the defense.
No, 100%. I mean, and it's something that they did really well last week. And I told Lance this. I said it made me think of him because the one thing that we started the season off last year with Lance saying was these linebackers are not making sure tackles. They're just not doing a good job at it.
Yeah.
They're not bringing the guys down, right? Like, I don't know why I'm like choked up over it. Did y'all give me that bid?
Oh, man.
I'm
tested
kidding. It's the
positive.
sinuses. Don't worry about it.
I tested
But the one thing that I when I think back to last season, right, that Detroit game, you're off the field in that Detroit game.
Yeah.
If Tremaine Edmonds grabs, I think it was David Montgomery, and pushes him away from the first down. Instead, he grabs him and ends up falling backwards, which is in the favor of the running back.
Right.
You get that first down, you stay on the field, right? You got to have sure tackles. Sure tackles is the most important thing to this. And we saw a lot of that in week 1. I mean, heck, we saw it with what was that? Was that a little over the middle play to Tony Pollard, I think?
And Edmonds got him right before he crossed the line.
Yeah. Grabs him perfectly, does just enough to make sure that he stays on the left, on the inside of that first down marker, right? Like, those are the things that you have to continue to see. And this is a team that's going to fight for the extra yards. Nico Collins is a fighter. Tank Dell is a fighter, right? Stephon Diggs, he's more of a don't hit me. I'm gonna just be faster than you. But like heck, even CJ Stroud and Joe Mixon are 2 guys that's like, I mean, like I'm a fighter. You know what I mean? I'm gonna fight for the extra yards. You have to be able to make sure that when you make contact with those guys, you're stopping their momentum and you're forcing them the other direction. And like you said, that gang tackling where it's 11 hats to the ball. We talk about that all the time. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, showing love. Jordan JC, I don't know if you saw this, my guy.
What do we got?
It's over 100 in the chat.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna just keep doing it. Oh yeah.
The chimes get me every time. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm not gonna lie. Hey man, we appreciate y'all tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. On the other side, I will give my second key to a Chicago Bears victory. We will continue giving our keys, and we will talk more about this Buffalo Bills Miami Dolphins game that it's going to be a tough one to see if Tua comes back and continues after what we saw last night. We'll talk about all that and more right after this. Happening, Bears Nation. It's your boy Pat, the designer from the Windy City Breeze, where we keep it 100 about everything Chicago Bears. Now, if you're like me, you don't just watch the game, you live it, and that's why you need to check out BetDSI. BetDSI is where it's at if you want to put your money where your mouth is. They've been doing it for over 20 years, giving you the best odds, lightning fast payouts, and a platform that's as solid as the best O-line. Whether you're betting on the Bears to take it all the way or making clutch live bets during the game, BetDSI has you covered. And here is the kicker. just because you're rolling with the Windy City Breeze. BetDSI is hooking you up. Sign up today with the promo code WCB, and they'll give you 120% bonus on your first deposit up to $1,000. That's free money, folks, to make sure that you're winning as you back our boys in the blue and orange. So what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Head over to betdsi.eu, use the code WCB, and start turning your Bears passion into serious cash. BetDSI, where real Bears fans get it done. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https://aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. That Aura commercial gets me every time. That was a real commercial break. That was a solid. We getting some money out.
1 minute.
It was a solid commercial break right there, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in, showing love.
Music is
Hit that
always
like
good.
button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Make sure you rock it with our sponsors as well, man. That's how we get paid. That's how we stay afloat in this business. So make sure that you tap in with them in the comments below. That BetDSI deal is crazy. 120% match up to $1,000. No, they give you $1,200 back if you throw 1,000 in. If you throw 1,000 in, though, you may have to call some people. Yeah, I mean, it's called an addiction. Hey, man, let's keep this thing moving along. Appreciate you guys tuning in and showing love, man. We got a lot to get to still on today's show. We're going through our 3 major keys to a Chicago Bears Week 2 win over the Houston Texans. And we are at key number 2. Jordan JC just gave his second key, and I will give my second key. My second key to a Chicago Bears victory over the Houston Texans. You have to continue to get pressure on CJ Stroud. Don't let week 1 be a fluke. We talked about it last night. Based on the pass rush win rate stats, the Chicago Bears were the best pass rush in the NFL. You had Javon Dexter and Andrew Billings both winning their matchups at a 24% clip. That was the 7th best among defensive tackles. The best among defensive tackles was DeMarcus Walker, who won it at a 60% clip. You had your defensive ends. Who was it that was on there? Darrell Taylor was number 2 on that list. He was winning at a 54% clip, I believe it was. Right. So you had these guys who were dominating on the defensive line, but we've seen a good week versus a bad offensive line. Right. That's not new. We've seen Chicago have a good week versus a bad offensive line. I think they got some solid bookend tackles over there. I don't think that they're a bad offensive line, but I do think that, week 1, you get some week 1 flukes in there. Things like that happen. Don't let this be a fluke. CJ Stroud got sacked 4 times last week. Be all over this guy. Now, in those 4 times that he got sacked, he still was able to complete the football at a 75% clip. but that average maybe a little bit lower, 7.3 yards per pass on that. 2 touchdowns, didn't turn the football over. So you also have to kind of keep in mind that CJ Stroud's not going to be a guy who's going to get rattled if you go out there and run into him. He's not going to be a guy that's going to crumble if you're sitting there sacking him all day. But what it does do is it starts to make him realize, okay, maybe I got to speed up a little bit. Maybe I got to do a little bit more to get this football out quicker. If you can get it back there and get similar sack numbers or close to it, 3 sacks on CJ Stroud, 4 sacks on CJ Stroud, right? Now all of a sudden he's got to speed his timing up because he's trying to get the football down the field. Again, putting your team in a position where it's CJ Stroud versus Jalen Johnson, where it's CJ Stroud versus Tyreek Stevenson, CJ Stroud versus Jaquan Brisker, Khalil Herbert, right? Those DBs, Kevin Byard, those DBs that we are hanging our hats on right now. That's the best case scenario for the Chicago Bears to go out there and get a victory. And I think that that's how this Bears team finds a way to win. Hit that like button if you agree. If you speed CJ Stroud up, if you get him kind of, moving a little bit quicker in the pocket, that's when sometimes mistakes can come. You got to keep that pressure up front as well. I think the most important piece in this game is still Javon Dexter. Need to see him dominate that middle. He had a really good first game. Let's be better. Let's be better.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you, man. I'm right there with you as far as with the pressure. And the main guy I'm looking forward to seeing, you talk about all the guys that did create pressure, and the main guy, Montz Sweat, I'm looking for the matchup. His advantage should be in his matchup. Titus Howard, their left tackle, is a name that, doesn't really put fear in you outside of Laramie Tunsil on the other side of the line. And so I'm looking for that to be a matchup that we can clearly take advantage of and have Montz Sweat get on the board this year with some sacks. That's what I want to see. As you notice, my 2 keys, they go hand in hand with pressure. If first key is defensive line, second key was the guys short tackling. Well, you know how you can get short tackling and kind of create more pressure against those wide receivers if you're trying to pressure the quarterback, and you can get to the quarterback quick. And that's something that we can do if we again are disciplined and doing what we did last week, winning that pass rush that win rate percentage, sticking to that as well.
Pass rush win rate will throw you off. That's a heck of a tongue twister right there. Saying that 3 times. I was about to say,
I almost sounded like I'm a fud. Good Lord.
No, man, 100% though. Like pressure breaks pipes, and see. But now here's the thing: you also have to understand, though, right? Getting the pressure is just a piece of it. This is a full defensive effort that has to be had here.
Right.
And if you don't, you're not going to win this game because your DBs also got to make a play on the ball. Your linebackers also have to be in position to stop the run, right? Like, to me, this has to be a full defensive win because, like I said, CJ Stroud got sacked 4 times last week. He still completed the football at a 75% clip. Yeah, it wasn't for a ton of yards, but it was for 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? This is a guy. Now, here's a guy who, to me, right, like you have to worry about him not being affected by that pressure from the defensive line. But what you do is you put him in those 3rd and long situations. You get him, having to make a deep shot or a deep pass. He is a guy that is going to want to go out there and take some of those deep shots on this Bears team. And you have to be ready for those. You have to be ready to try and take those back to the house, just like you did this previous Sunday versus the Titans.
Yeah,
I think this is probably a game where we see our first linebacker pick if there's going to be an interception from this team, because he's going to test you over the middle. I don't know if you saw Stephon Diggs, but a ton of his plays coming over the middle.
That touchdown.
Trying to break him out. Use that speed up top. TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edwards, you guys got to be ready today, or on Sunday, I should say. And I hope that we see a ton of pressure from this Bears team and a ton of picks from this Bears team and a Bears victory, not just on the back of the defense, though. Right. Key number 3. Let's get the key number 3 before we talk about this Bills versus Buffalo versus Miami Dolphins game. JC, what is your 3rd key to a Chicago Bears victory?
Key number 3, okay, we've talked about the defense enough. We clearly know that the defense has to do their job, but I think it's very obvious. One of the most important keys for me is for The number 1 draft pick, Caleb Williams, to finally break out and show why he is special. Even though this is week 2, we want to kind of erase last week's performance, get it out of our head, and have him come into the Houston Stadium and dominate. Now, I'm not saying that he has to pass for 300 to 400 yards, but what I am saying is that he has to have a better showing than what he did. He has to be accurate with his passes. He has to be on point. Shane Waldron, by extension, has to be on point with his play calling and the schemes that he builds up. Like those are the things that I want to see from the offense. If the offense can start humming, regardless if, Keenan Allen is out or Roma Dunze is out, and we still have, DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, DJ Moore is our number 1. Those are the guys that are going to have to step up and do their job so we can get more scoring on the board to help out our defense as they're trying to stop CJ Stroud.
And you know what? I'll say this, and our keys are in lockstep, right? My keys are offensive as well.
Yeah.
But to your point, I don't need a dominant day. You know what kind of day I would love to see from Caleb Williams? CJ Stroud day.
Yeah.
234 yards, 24 for 32, 75% completion. Longest pass of the day, 55 yards, 2 touchdowns. Maybe cut those sack numbers down, but he's had a quarterback rating of 115.9 that day.
We'll take it.
We win.
We'll take it.
You get that day from Caleb Williams, we win.
Sounds like a win to me. Yeah.
Like, unless it's just Caleb and CJ killing you left and right. Like, to me,
Yeah.
like, that's the only other thing I could think, right? Like, Caleb Williams is just dominating, or CJ Stroud is just dominating your defense. But even that, I don't know if that's, something that we really are going to see from this Bears team. Like, I have a lot of confidence in the fact that this team can go out there and put a heck of a showing on display, that this team can go out there and defensively, make CJ Stroud's life hard. Now, at the end of the day, CJ Stroud is still a really freaking good quarterback. It may not matter if you make his life hard, right? We've seen defenses make his life hard, and he go, oh, that was interesting. Touchdown, right? So that still may happen. You kind of just have to live with what it is. But at the end of the day, this is a team right now that, if you're going to have success moving forward offensively, if you give anything, you can win every game. That's how good this defense is.
That is how good it is. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be 5 touchdowns. You might get 5 touchdowns because they might get 2 of them.
Yep. Yeah. Just like last week. Yeah. Nah, I'm with that.
My number 1 key to a Chicago Bears victory, it does rest on the offensive side of the ball, but to me it rests with Shane Bartholomew Waldron. I don't know if that's his middle name, but I'm going to assume.
Poindexter.
Shane Waldron, you have to, establish the run.
Yeah.
You cannot abandon the run. You have to make your rookie's life easier. I think that Shane went into that week 1 forgetting that Caleb Williams was a rookie. Now, I think that some plays were there. I think Caleb Williams talks about those 6 throws that he wants back. I counted 4. He's obviously seeing 2 more. But when I watched the All-22, I saw 4 throws that he definitely needed to have back. The overthrow to Swift, the overthrow to Keenan Allen, the overthrow to DeAndre Carter, not going to Rome on that DeAndre Carter play where Roma Dunze, no safety help over the top, DB gets beat. Rome's streaking down the sideline, booty butt naked, and just doesn't even look his direction. Goes to DeAndre Carter, who was also open, overthrow, right? Yeah. Like, and then, what was the other one? Well, the other one is, I think he was talking about the Keenan Allen one and putting the blame on himself. Like, I got to throw a better ball there. I think
into the end zone?
Allen. Yeah, in the end zone. I think that's on Keenan Allen, but I would assume that's the other one that he's talking about.
Yeah.
But just got to make those plays, right? But so I think I think Shane Waldron schemed open some things for Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams has to take advantage of it. I do think that is an aspect of this.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of it, in week 1, game 1, it felt like he did exactly what we said don't do. Don't put everything on this kid's shoulders. Don't abandon the run. Don't sit there and say, you got to go out here and throw this thing 45 times for us to win this game. I understand what Caleb Williams should be, will be, can be, all of that. But he don't have to be that today. When we get to week 10, week 11, be that. But he don't got to be that today.
Yeah.
Today, let him be the young quarterback that's figuring out NFL speed. Because guess what? Once he figures out NFL speed, he's going to be dangerous.
It's going to be a problem. Yeah.
And that's what you're waiting for. That's the next thing that you want to see from him. But, like, you're not there yet. And I think that's my thing with Shane Waldron, where it just felt like Sunday, I think Shane Waldron did a lot of good things. I think people have been unnecessarily killing Shane Waldron. But I do think there were plays that it was just like, all right, we just don't want to mess up here, so we give up. And I don't think that's a way to go about it either.
Yeah. I mean, I had to even take a step back from killing with Shane Waldron. I was probably one of those guys that was like, what are you doing? Because you're giving me PTSD of Luke Getsy. That's what it looked like, from the screen standpoint. But to your point, we do want to implement more of the running game, get that going. But to even kind of solidify my key about Caleb and the passing game, there's matchups that you can take advantage of. We talked about the roster that they have on the defensive side, about Titus Howard up against Montz Sweat. Well, the cornerbacks are rookies that they have on in their outside of Stingley. You got Kamari Lassiter, who's a second-round rookie. Good talent, but, I mean, he's still a rookie, so he's still trying to develop, an understanding of the NFL game and the NFL speed. So that's probably a matchup you can take advantage of as well, whether or not if it's DJ against him or if it's going to be Keenan if he's healthy. Whatever the case may be, you can take advantage of that matchup. Then there's Kalen Bullock, who's the safety, the third-round pick safety. He's a rookie as well. So you got two rookies that are starting in this backfield for the Texans. And that's where I want to see, Shane Waldron maybe scheme some plays where, okay, if they're not having that great of a day, take advantage of that early and often.
No, 100% agree with you, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. As Crimson said, 0 of 7 on downfield shots. What was he supposed to do? No, I agree. Caleb's got to be better. Caleb has to be better.
Wasn't accurate. Yeah.
No matter what. At the end of the day, I think that Shane Waldron on some of the short stuff, right? Maybe my thing is just don't abandon the run. Yeah. That's the biggest one for me. And here's the other thing before we get off of it. Here's the other thing. Utilize that short run game that every new offensive coordinator talks about, right? Those short passes, the screen passes. I know screen passes are a bad word in Chicago now, but they're a good thing.
Oh boy.
When you use them the right way, they're a good thing. I mean, even at the watch party, when they threw a screen, like everybody's like, oh, no. I'm like, no, those
like
are
before
good.
It even worked.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're supposed to use those. Remember the game started, first play, DeAndre Swift in preseason, little flick of the wrist, and it was a screen. Like, it's a screen. Those are good. It's okay. But Luke Getsy ran them. He ran them to death. That's different. When you run 3 of them in the end zone versus a championship caliber defense, yeah, that's bad.
Back to back. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's bad. Back. He said, hey, Luke Getsy got the screen number 2 and did that LeBron. He was like, you know what? Here's 2 more for y'all.
Thick.
Oh, Luke, you've scarred us. But no, like to me, I just want to see more of the short game, more of the extended run game that a lot of these offensive coordinators talk about now. About utilizing now. I think that is how you keep this run game involved, and it's how you open those deep shots up, even though they were open.
They were.
Like let's be real. At the end, we live in a weird era where you have to blame everyone except the player, no matter what happens. Until you're like, all right, there's no one left to blame. So wait, you killed everyone? You're the worst person of all time. And I don't think that is fair. There can be nuance to these conversations. You know what I mean? Shane Waldron had a bad day. Kind of. More so the offensive line had a bad day.
Yeah.
More so your quarterback was overthrowing everybody who was out there. More so easy touchdowns were getting dropped. And that's, I mean, like, if you're here, and I talked about this with Courtney Cronin on the Chicago Bears podcast, Caleb Williams' margin of error is massive, but he can't have it be here. If he's here, and for the people on the podcast side, I'm making different sizes, large size, small size. If he's here, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Keenan Allen make this up.
Yeah.
You're okay here.
Yeah.
He was missing here. And when you're missing here, it's just like, oh, well, there goes the football. We got
Huge
nothing
gap.
for that. All right, there it goes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so that to me is my problem with what we saw last Sunday, what you can't do this coming Sunday. Appreciate y'all tuning in, showing love, man. Let's jump into this conversation with the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins, because we saw a game last night, which was a real barn burner. Not at all. Burn the barn down.
I don't think so.
It was a horrible Thursday night football game, which most Thursday night football games are, right? Every now and then you get that outlier. I'm not a big Thursday night football guy. It's gotten better, but you can always tell it's not the best football because both teams are coming off a short rest, all that stuff.
First week was decent.
That's what I said. Week 1 was great, but nobody was off short rest. Everybody had 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's true. That was the first. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to do the 2-week thing, yeah, all the Thursday night footballs would be great. We'll have a 28-week season, but
hey, you want more football? We got you.
I'm always down for more football. Actually, I'm not going to lie. I don't want the 18th week.
You don't like 18 weeks? Just keep extending it.
That's all they keep doing. I don't want the 18th week. I want to see this football season. I like 16. 16 was perfect to me.
Okay. All right.
16 was perfect. Yeah, I mean, it was easy to remember. If you were mid, you were 8-8. Now, like, if you're 7-10, you're in the race now. There's too many playoff teams. Am I being old right now? Don't worry about it.
I don't know. I'm okay with 17 because you get one preseason game out the way. I'm not like I didn't like all those preseason games.
We could have just got rid of the preseason game.
That's true.
We could have just got rid of it. We didn't need it.
More football.
More football. I'm not mad at more football. But we did see Tua last night, or I'm sorry, the Buffalo Bills take on the Miami Dolphins, and the Bills basically dominated the Dolphins. And on a play where Tua was trying to run to get the first down, he runs into DeMar Hamlin, and we see a familiar sight. I mean, the concussions have gotten ridiculous to this point. I mean, this is like his brain. These aren't just even like regular concussions.
Nah, bro.
This is almost like his brain is trying to reset after he's getting hit. Are we to a point where, for family's sake, for the rest of your life's sake, for being able to function normally after you're done playing the game, where Tua has to possibly consider retirement?
I mean, are we at that point? I mean, that to me, that would be a personal decision, obviously, from Tua. You know, a lot of these guys try to play through injury. Most of them do for a long career. You've seen what concussions have done to players in the game when they remain in the game. Some have, unfortunately, taken their lives, you know, because of the after effects of concussions and things that have happened to the brain. That they've done research on this. You've seen players. I remember a linebacker that was on San Francisco 49ers way back when. I believe his name was Borland. He was a really good rookie linebacker, Chris Borland, I believe, and he just retired after his rookie season or his second season. And it was just like, well, why are you doing it? He's saying, it's just too much wear and tear on the body, too much, you know, it's like we already talked about it. Every tackle, every play is almost like a train wreck or a car crash. And if you're immediately like your head is one of your most prized parts of your body, like that was insane yesterday. And for him to constantly go through that, there will need to be a discussion, you know, a really hard discussion about him saying, you know what, I got to put it up just because I need to be good for my family.
Yeah, and listen, we've seen this before, right? It's not something new right now. It wasn't concussion based, but you saw Andrew Luck make that decision at the prime of his career. We've seen guys who have been, you know, at the heights. You talked about Chris Borland. My first thought went to Patrick Willis, right? Like
Pat Willis, yep.
8 years in the league, one of the best. He's at the top of his game. He's nowhere near slowing down. All of a sudden, he goes, "Yeah, I'm done."
Yeah, that's it.
Wait a minute. Like, and here's the thing, right? A lot of these guys were retiring for like knee injuries, back injuries, things that just they didn't feel like rehabbing anymore. This is his brain.
Yeah.
And you can physically see it on the field, what it's doing to him when he takes these hits. His body is shutting down, restarting, and then he just wakes up back on the field. That is not a good spot for you to continue to be in. Those are the concussions that are going to affect you the most in life as you move forward. That's why I think this is a major topic of conversation today, because when you're talking about one, if you're the owner of this team, if you're the head coach of this team, how do you tell this guy? I get it, right? At the end of the day, it's a product, but like the human element has to come in at some point. How do you tell this guy, no, you're good to go, get back out there, watch your head?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As that, because we've seen what it almost looks like for somebody to stop breathing on the field. And of course, the irony in DeMar Hamlin being the one to place that hit last night is not lost upon me.
That was crazy. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, we've seen that. You don't want to see it get to the next level. And that's where I'm starting to get scared for Tua. And it's also, I mean, listen, like you also got to be smarter in that play. When you make that play, he's leading with his head. He's trying to run through a guy. I don't know why, as the quarterback, that's your go-to, but he's trying to make a play. He's a football player. And I think that's the part on the other side of this. We can sit there and go, well, if he doesn't, if he just is willing to slide, if he doesn't throw his head in there, right, he can continue to play this game. He doesn't have to sit there and give up the game because, he does, as long as he doesn't lead with his head. He's a football player. He's out there playing off instinct most of the time. He's not playing off of, as long as I don't lead with my head, I'm good. He's not sitting there playing that way. No player does.
Yeah.
If you're playing that way, you're probably not a good football player, and I think Tua's a good football player. Most of these guys, they go through practice. They know what's coming. When the ball is snapped, you react. You're not thinking. It's why when people go, well, why did Cam Newton keep sticking his head in there like that? Because he's thinking, I'm the biggest dude on this field. I'm the best opportunity for us to get this first down, and I know I can go through you. Why is RG3 leading with his head? Well, he's thinking, they're not going to catch me anyway. I'm the fastest one here. I'm going to make sure that I can just get out and get away. Why is Lamar Jackson running all the time? Because he's reacting. These guys are reacting. They're not sitting there thinking like, oh, got to make sure I don't lose my head today. Got to make sure I don't go out here and take a shot to the brain today. Like, that's just how it is. And so for me, right, like this is one where if I'm the Miami Dolphins, I'm taking a serious conversation with Tua and telling him, yo, this is a dangerous situation for you to be in. You might have to rethink this one. We love you. We want you back, but the human side of it has to take effect at some point.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the chat, and it's a very good question from Brandon Truth. How do you tell him to stop doing the thing that makes him survive? Well, what you just mentioned. You get the people that are the decision makers outside of him that could sway his vote and say, hey, you need to probably think about, your future at this point. This is happening too many times. And I used to wonder, like, man, why are players going through this or playing through that? We remember when we had Jay Cutler on the field. And for whatever reason, I didn't know anything about concussions back then, like we understand it now.
Jay used to be going
Jay was twitching and always switching his neck around and making movements and subtle moves all the time. I'm like, what is wrong with this dude? Like, he's always doing that. And there was a reason for it, because he was always concussed. Like he went, and so that's important. You gotta, at a certain point, you have to understand. Okay, yes, this is a game. Yes, this is a lucrative game that pays me a lot of money. Right, helps me to provide for my family. But at a certain point, it's like, okay, what's more important? Your life, your health is more important than anything. If you don't have your health, you're no good to anybody anyway.
Yeah.
you're no good at your job. So
Yeah.
that's what he has to consider.
And this is, I mean, I don't know which concussion this is at this point with Tua, but somebody just brought it up. Somebody just brought it up, said, do you think say Shy City said Tua now, though, is more susceptible to concussions now. So if he does keep playing, he can't keep playing like that.
See, like that.
It's
like you said, it's reactionary.
That's the hard part about it, right? That's the part about this conversation that is tough. You don't just change who you are.
Yeah.
You don't just change your play style. How many times have we seen guys really change who they are? Right? We sit here and talk about you got to adjust your game. You got to make these changes. You got to be different. You got to blah, 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 blah. You got to change who you are. How many times does that work? Very rarely can a guy change who he is and still be that player that we think is great.
You can't do it. You can't do it. It's a reactive sport. You can't sit there and say, I'm gonna just go 80% because if I go all out, I might hurt myself.
If you go 80%, you're guaranteed to get a concussion.
You're guaranteed. So if you dial it back, you're gonna get hurt. Yeah. If you go 100%, you're gonna get hurt. So it's like, okay, now comes this hard decision that we have to make. You can't do it.
Bears Junkie said, do you think the helmet caps would have helped in this situation? Maybe in this situation. But a lot of the times it is Tua taking a sack. It is Tua getting thrown to the ground. It's football plays. I don't think it's dirty plays, right? Well, maybe the one he kind of got slung. No, I got to rewatch that one. I don't even remember if that one was a dirty play. I think he just hit the ground hard. But in this situation, the helmet cap might have helped because it kind of was like he was going helmet in. But here's the thing. Nobody should be going helmet first.
Yeah.
It ain't 1965 no more. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be going in 1965. It's not 2003 no more. I went all the way back for no reason.
Say take a shot.
Yeah, it's not 2000. You do got to take a shot there too. It's not 2003 no more. You know what I mean? Like you got to protect your neck. And Tua just didn't in that situation. So I don't know if that makes a massive difference in the long run, but it's so funny you brought up Jay Cutler, dog, because it's like you never think about how many hard hits Jay was taking. Of course, you think about all the sacks, but even Jay was mobile. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a runner, but he was mobile. And if he took off, Jay did not duck nothing.
No.
Jay was like, I don't know if you've seen this montage where it's like quarterbacks being hyped, and then all of a sudden it's like the dude ends up he's one of my favorite dudes on TikTok. He's always like, and there he goes, look at him, a dog down the sideline. So he starts doing that with Jay Cutler, and it's like he's like, yeah, sometimes the quarterback, you got to say something. Who's that? Is that Jay Cutler laying a boom over the middle? And I forgot all of these plays where Jay's just laying people out, and it's like, yo, I forgot he was like this.
Yep. Yep.
But it's so true, right? You go back and look at it, and you're like, he would always twitch in the press conferences. He always had kind of a tick. Is that from the concussions? Is that just something natural? Is that him being uncomfortable? Yeah, I mean, it's those are the things you got to think of. And Jay seems fine now, but I think Jay was getting hit hard, but his body wasn't resetting. We're watching a human being's body reset.
That's insane, bro.
It's like you're shocking the system. It's like, all right, come on.
Reboot.
Come back.
Reboot.
Come back. There you go. Now you keep playing football.
Yeah, that's scary.
When the story coming out of a Buffalo Bills win is not the fact that the Buffalo Bills are still really good.
Yeah.
That tells you something right there. Because I think that is a part of this as well. Before we get up out of here. Buffalo Bills are a really good team, man.
Yeah, still a good team.
Defensively, still some dogs. Offensively, I mean,
they have enough.
Josh Allen didn't even have a good day yesterday.
No.
Josh Allen did not have a good day yesterday.
139 yards.
139 yards, one touchdown. Trust me, I know. I got him in fantasy. It was not a good day. It was not a good day for my team. But man, just a team that is find a way to win.
Yeah.
They're the epitome of that.
Overall good team. James Cook did cook though. James Cook cooked.
Oh, won't he though? Won't he do it? James Cook did cook. Second half was kind of mid though. But maybe I guess you're up so much at that point.
Out of hand. Yeah, I was about to say he didn't need to do too much. 3 touchdowns. All right.
But 11 carries, 78 yards, 7.1 yards per carry.
There you go.
If you are a James Cook fantasy owner, you are very happy right now. I was not. I went with the because I thought A-Chain was not going to get as many carries as he did. I went with Jalen Wright, the young guy.
I got Devin A-Chain.
That was a bad call.
I got A-Chain, baby.
4 yards, baby. Look at those carries. Good thing is I'm going up against JP, so I should still be able to win. Hey, man, we're going to get up out of here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Show love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We'll be back with more content on the channel today, so stay tapped in with us. If you have not done so, hit that like button and subscribe to the page. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every single time we go live. I saw some of y'all pop up in here late. It was a Thirsty Thursdays last night, but y'all wasn't that wasted. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. For Jordan JC, it's your boy, Brad the Designer. Back at it again. Bear down. One love. Peace.
Yeah, I think A-Chain gave me like 27 points in fantasy the other day. He was the only bright spot.
Mr. Chain out here, huh?
Killing it.
Can't go wrong with the chain.
Can't go
What'd
wrong
you call
there.
him yesterday? Because you didn't know his name. Like
Akane, a time?
Akane.
The best show
Akane, I don't know.
sport.